Good afternoon and welcome to a sunny Forfarshire Cricket Club in Dundee, Scotland for the third game of the ICC Women's World T20 Qualifier 2019, where the stakes are high. Scotland have won the toss and will be batting first. With me is Isabel Joyce. Welcome, Isabel.
Thanks very much. I'm very excited to be watching some cricket here today. It's been a long wait. It's well worked into the leg side for a single. So I'll be relying a lot on this opening pair, Scotland, I think.
So it's obviously a shortened game here. Who do you think that suits more in the context?
I think it probably suits Scotland. They've got a strong opening pair here. The Bryce sisters, very strong at the bat, and obviously Sarah Bryce, the captain, is strong with the ball as well. So they're two powerhouses of Scottish cricket, and they'll want to get off on the right foot.
Farouk balls, played and miss, dot ball. Every ball is key here in this shortened version.
Absolutely, and it looks like she's getting the ball to shape away. It's quite slow as well, so quite difficult to get away.
Farouk in again. Play and a miss. Another dot ball. Good start for America.
Yeah, the captain, Cindy, looks like she's looking around to see if there's anything that she can do to help her bowler, but Farouk doing a really good job up top here. Just the single so far from the first 4 balls.
Farouk in again. Played away into the covers. They might come back for 2. No, just 1. Isabel, the pitch would have been under covers as well for most of the day, so that's obviously going to make things quite tough initially.
Yeah, I was quite surprised actually to see Scotland decide to bat first. I thought they'd won it when there'd been a bit of sun on the pitch, but they obviously think runs on the board.
Ball's played too long on, just the 1. That's first over up. Good start for the USA. 3 for no loss.
Yeah, I think if you'd asked USA at the start of the game how they wanted their first over to go, they might have just said a sneaky little wicket as well, but they definitely would have taken 3 runs at the beginning of this 7-over match.
So just to recap, this is an 18 tournament that will be competed over the course of 8 days. And they'll be playing for the chance to secure their place at the Women's World T20, which will take place in Australia in February and March next year. 2 places up for grabs, so the stakes are certainly high.
Yeah, a very big prize at the end of this tournament for any team that gets there. These two will be hoping for a surprise spot. There's a few other teams that might be thinking they're in there ahead of them, but you never know with T20 cricket.
Worked away, that's going to be 1. Scotland will be looking for an early boundary here, try and bring a bit of impetus into this innings and get the flow going.
Yeah, I just wonder, as the ball gets a little bit wet for these 2 opening bowlers, this is Lisa Ramjet coming in from the far end, if they'll struggle a little bit not being used to these kind of conditions. Nicely played down the ground there by the captain. Slightly strange wrist action from the opening bowler there, Lisa Ramjet.
Yeah, that's going to take a few balls to get used to, certainly. Nicely played again for 1. Good running.
I think that's going to be the order of the day, really. It's going to be slow there. There's been a lot of rain. The pitch is slow and there's not a lot of pace on the ball, so I think the Bryces have met at the middle of the wicket at the end of over 1 and decided, right, it's just going to be hit and run and then see if we can get one through.
Work through, that's pierced the gap. Will it go for 4? It's pulled up just 2. Scoreboard ticking along now.
So this shortened game is 7 overs, which means it's just 2 overs of power play. So this is the second over, and And USA only have to survive for another couple of balls without pushing the field out and kind of making sure that they only go for singles.
Played again through the covers, dot ball. 8 for no loss in the second. Oh, lost her footing there perhaps. Good over here from Lisa Ramjic. She'll want to finish well. Try and finish with a dot or a single. Work to cover, quick running. Good energy from the Scotland batters. Nine for no loss after the second.
And the third over being bowled by Samantha Ramaitur. Sue Redfern telling the batter what she can expect. That's a standing umpire down this end.
Wide signalled by the umpire there. Catherine obviously in blistering form down in the Super League. She'll want to bring that up to Scotland and lead from the front here in this first game. Another wide ball. Bonus runs here for Scotland early on. Steps back, works it away through the covers, and that is the first boundary of the day for Catherine Bryce.
Yeah, beautifully played through the covers there, Catherine. She recognised the length early on there and rocked back and played it really nice and laid under her eyes to make sure that she missed that cover fielder on the boundary.
Ramaitur in.
Yeah, much better there from Amateur. She drew Catherine forward, who then thought better of it, rocked back, and then was lucky not to edge that one through to the keeper.
Down the wicket from Catherine Bryce. Too long on, just the single.
Well fielded from Nadia Grooney.
Scotland gaining a bit of momentum here. 16 for none in the third.
Well, at the toss, Catherine Bryce said that she reckoned 50 would be a winning score. Really well run there. It was a very tight single. The fielder was well in, but Sarah Bryce, quick like a whippet.
Great work from these two. Lots of energy between the wickets. Ramaitur in again. It's big, it's straight. Great fielding. Great fielding prevents the boundary.
Absolutely fantastic fielding on the boundary there. Coach Julia Price will pride her team on put her pride in her team's fielding, having been a wicketkeeper and a fantastic fielder herself. So that's great for the coach to see.
Work through mid-wicket, just going to be the one. That's the end of the over. It's 20 for no loss after 3. Scotland coach, can he be happy with the start, Isabel?
Yeah, I think he can. It's really nerve-wracking, that first game in any tournament. So, and he knows how important these two are. So 20 for none after 3, I think he would have taken that probably. He would have obviously liked a few more maybe from the first over, but being into the fourth over with these two still at the crease is a real bonus for the Scottish side, and will give their team a lot of confidence.
Looks like we have a bowling change. It's Claudine Beckford into the attack. Another right arm off spinner.
So both of these sisters like playing spin, so they won't mind seeing another spinner coming on. They'll grow into the game and probably try and hit it really straight between these two fielders down at long off and long on.
Absolutely, really positive footwork so far. They'll be looking to do the same here. Work to mid-wicket, misfield. They're going to scamper one. Good running again. Nice and aware from these two. Know each other very well.
Yeah, it does help when you have a sister at the crease with you. Good communication. Of course, you don't want to get it wrong because then there's a bit of trouble at home.
As you would know very well. Another dot ball for Claudine Beckford.
She's a very low arm action, so I think the Bryce sisters might look to rock deep just like that a bit more. It doesn't look like she's going to toss it up as much.
Gone at it to mid-wicket and it's gone through. There may be 2 here. 4. Great shot for Catherine Bryce. Was it Sarah? Sarah Bryce. Great shot through mid-wicket. Misfield. And they've capitalised there.
Yeah, I think that's the right way to play Claudine Beckford on the back foot, looking to miss those 2 fielders on the leg side.
Beckford in. Sweep shot. Found the gap again and it's another boundary. Scotland racing away now.
The sound off the bat for that was just beautiful. Really great timing from Sarah Bryce. She didn't look to overhit it. She just made sure she got it in the gap and it raced away to the boundary. And that'll have the added bonus as well of the ball getting nice and wet. So we'll see how Claudine Beckford fares with that.
And she's bowled her. Big wicket for the USA. Sarah Bryce looks to work that into mid-wicket and she's missed it. Claudine Beckford gets the first wicket for the USA today.
Yeah, disappointing for Sarah Bryce. You can see her shaking her head there as she comes off. She's just hit 2 boundaries and she got a bit greedy, tried to hit the best ball of the over for 4, and she'll have to go.
You have to say she looked really good there and set actually. But it's a shortened game, she had to go for it and pays the price. And welcome to the wicket, Becky Glenn. Again, I think we can expect a lot of positivity early on here. Scotland have all 9 wickets in the hut still, so only 3.5 overs to get as many as they can.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes it's a blessing in disguise playing these shortened games because you go out with real freedom and there's no real thoughts of repercussion.
Wide ball signal by the umpire.
It's well worked into the leg side. There is a fielder out there, but they'll try and push 2. Sarah Bryce says no. That brings up the end of the over. 4 overs gone. 30 for 1. Excuse me, 31 for 1.
Isabel, you're someone who knows a thing or two about World Cup qualifying tournaments. What are these girls going through at the start of the day today, waiting around to get on the pitch? Would have been a lot of emotion flying around?
Yeah, I think they'll be going through a couple of different emotions actually, the 2 teams. USA, well, as we've seen, they've done really well. They wouldn't be used to being in this situation. They obviously want to qualify and they're doing everything that they can to do that. But they wouldn't necessarily think that they're an incumbent into a position, whereas Scotland have been unlucky to miss out the last couple of times. So they'll feel under a lot of pressure in this fixture to get their campaign underway.
Bowling change and Farouk's back on from the clubhouse end. Worked away to deep square. This could be another boundary. As well fielded. Just the 2.
That's very unlucky. She just shimmied across the offside there, Catherine Bryce. She decided, I think, what shot she was going to play, and she's clipped it into the leg side. And usually you'd see that running off down the hill for 4, but there is a good bit of moisture out there, so just the 3 runs, and Becky Glenn is now on strike.
Great intent early on from Becky in her innings there. Knew exactly what she was doing, manipulating the field, and it's forced the fielding change. Faruqin. Through the covers again, she's pierced the gap.
Misfield on the boundary.
Just going back to what you're saying about tournament play, obviously Scotland have never qualified for a World Cup. They've got a good team at this tournament. It's at home, great venue. You know, there'll be a lot of pressure on these guys, and they really need to start this tournament well.
Yeah, and sometimes that means that you don't perform maybe as well as you could, so this is a big game for these girls. And there's something going on for Becky Glenn. Has stepped away there, so Farouk is forced to start her run up again. Yeah, so it's whether they can hold their nerve or not in the big moments. That's what's going to get them to that World Cup spot.
Absolutely, and they've started well today. They had a very good, convincing warm-up win against was it Namibia? Yeah. Which would have, you know, given them a lot of confidence going into today.
So another fielding change here. Skipper behind the stumps there, Sindhu, just moving her fielder from third man to fine leg, recognising what Becky Glenn is trying to do. She looks like she's trying to go leg side quite a lot.
Hits the pad, not out signalled from the umpire. Crucially, another dot ball for the USA.
And this is when the pressure starts to build. You face a few dots and you think, God, how am I going to find a boundary? And it's whether you can do that without losing your wicket. Really, that's the challenge.
Faruqin from the clubhouse end. Lovely shot into deep mid wicket. Just going to be the one. Brings Catherine Bryce back on strike.
I'd like to see them taking that fielder on, actually. She's gone down into the long barrier, fumbled a little bit, and it's quite a long distance kind of up the hill there to throw, so I think in this kind of game you've got to take that on.
Farouk again.
And that's just gone where the field has been taken out to go to fine leg. That's racing away to the boundary, and point won't catch that. A lucky boundary there from Catherine Bryce, but she's thrown her hands really well. That brings about the end of the over. So it's 5 gone, 40 for 1.
Catherine looking real.
So 2 overs to go. Scotland have raced to 40. They could get to 70 here and make it a very tough chase for USA. Well hit down the ground. Will only be a single. Long on, collects well and returns.
Catherine looking very good here. Could do with a big over just to really set up the finish. Ramjeet in to the covers and gone for a quick single. Good running.
I have to say I've been quite impressed by how organised USA are. You know, they have fumbled a little bit, and that's to be expected in this kind of situation, the conditions. But they've been really organised with how they've got to the stumps and how they've backed up, and it's really quite impressive from them.
Ramjeet in. Hits the pads, they scamper through it for a single. Becky Glenn back on strike. I fully agree, in a 7 over game the intensity is going to be high. Mistakes are going to happen, but they've held their nerve. There's been some very good boundary fielding, and you're right. I think they do look a very well organised side. Lisa Ramjit in again. Work to mid-on. Just a single. Brings Becky Glenn back on strike.
It's been a pretty good over from Lisa Ramjit in this situation. She's just gone for 4 from it so far. Looks a tricky bowler to face, just with that wrist action. Attempts a reverse sweep there, but a single nonetheless.
Sorry, that was Catherine Bryce on strike. Becky Glenn now back on strike. Scotland will be looking for a boundary this over. End of the 6th over. Scotland 45 for 1, so we went to the final over of the innings. Skipper Catherine still at the crease with Becky Glenn. Both have looked very good, very positive. They'll be looking to finish very strongly here in this first innings and set what they would hope to be a winning total for Scotland in the opening fixture of this World T20 qualifier.
Yeah, Claudine Beckford returning here, so something that both these players will relish. A kind of a round arm flat off spinner as we saw earlier on, and I'm sure we'll see a few sweeps here from Glenn. Should be eyeing up that vacant square leg area.
Oh, it's a wide. She's gone. Stumped. Great work from the keeper.
Yeah, skipper Sindhu there doing great work behind the stumps, and no doubt that's some work that's been done by her coach Julia Price, a well-renowned keeper for Australia in her day. So yeah, that's unfortunate for Becky Glenn, but you know, she did do a good job while she was there.
She did do a good job. Very positive, used her feet well, gave Scotland a lot of impetus in the middle of that innings. Which brings us to our next batter, Ruth Willis. She'll be looking for some boundaries. 5 balls to go in the first innings here at Fortfisher Cricket Club.
So still a full over to go in this innings. So after 6, Scotland are 46 for 1. I'd mentioned possibly getting to 70, but I think they'll probably be eyeing up somewhere around 55 to 60 at this point.
Ruth is in some very good form, fresh off a 60 in the Scottish Cup final for Colton and 80 not out in the semi-final, so 5 balls to work her magic here. 6 balls, apologies, I missed that wide.
That's beautifully played through the covers. A full toss and an unusual shot through point, but it's raced away. She's got her hands through really well, and that's a boundary for Scotland.
Claudine Beckford will be disappointed with that new batter in, and she's given her a juicy full toss and off stump. Ruth Willis has put that away. Great batting and just what the team needed.
Yeah, things looking a little bit more like they're going awry now as the ball bounces around the USA team. And I'd say that ball's getting a little bit wet at this stage.
Beckford in again. Great comeback. She's bowled a flatter one, slightly shorter, and a great celebration.
Yeah, love to see that. Love a good celebration. She's just bowled that one a good bit quicker, and she drew with Ruth Willis onto the back foot, and she's got to go for 4.
Yeah, she had to go for that. Good effort. Sacrificed a wicket in pursuit of quick runs. So she's gone for 4 off 2, which brings to the wicket Lorna Jack.
There we have that celebration again. She really enjoyed that one. So 2 wickets and 2 balls because of that wide. A big over here for Claudine Beckford, but still 4 balls for Scotland to make the most. So I think Lorna Jack really needs to be looking to get her skipper on strike here. Obviously, if it's there to hit it, but get the in batter on strike.
Claudine Beckford in again. Tossed up, worked away into the covers. Quick single. Makes it with plenty to spare. Crucially brings Catherine back on strike.
Now this is what the Scottish team will have wanted. 3 balls to go. They want their skipper on strike, and they say, get us up there, come on, get us to 60. Give us something extra to bowl at.
Beckford in again. It's down the ground from Catherine Bryce. And it's a 4. Much needed 4 for Scotland. Great shot. Beautiful use of the feet from Catherine. Gets the pitch of the ball. Times it over the bowler's head for 4.
I think if you'd asked her what ball she wanted, Catherine Bryce would have said, just pitch it right exactly where it's gone. Straight over the top. She's driven it beautifully over and in between, long off and long on. Quite flat, which meant it didn't plug, and it raced away for a boundary.
Beckford in again. Use of the feet. Worked through the covers again by Catherine. And she's found the gap. It's another boundary.
Yeah, she's just played that so beautifully there. Wrists coming through at the last minute, making sure that it goes wide at that long on fielder. And this will certainly be extra special runs for Scotland.
Certainly, Catherine really showing class now. Great use of the feet. Beckford in again. Much flatter that time, and it's worked to cover. Just the single.
And that brings up the close of the innings. 7 overs gone. Scotland made 60 for 3. And we see umpire Sue in there having a quick chat to USA skipper Sindhu.
I think Scotland will be relatively happy with that first half. They ran very well, and when they needed a boundary, they seemed to hit a boundary, which has set them up very nicely for the innings of a total of 60 for 3.
Yeah, I think really useful for them that their skipper and informed player Catherine Bryce was the one that batted through the innings. It just gives the rest of the players that kind of confidence to bat around her. And it's a big task for USA here. They have to chase 7 overs.
I think your point is valid. Catherine's really led from there. This is the opening game of their tournament. The nerves definitely in there, but that's certainly got rid of a lot of them, and they're far more settled now as a unit, and now it's over to the bowlers to step up and do.
Yeah, and really great to see as well some young girls out here supporting their home team. Scotland, they'll no doubt know who Catherine Bryce is, and they'll be delighted to have seen her few boundaries and a few fantastic shots there, especially at the back end.
Welcome back to Forfarshire Cricket Club, where Scotland have posted 60 runs in their first innings here. Game reduced to 7 overs a side, so they'll be fairly happy with that first half. Big job now to do for their bowlers as they look to defend.
Yeah, Scotland will be taking the field with a lot of confidence here. Defending 61, they'll have a pretty, and they'll be pretty confident that they can do that. But USA, as I heard when I interviewed Julia Price earlier today, they like to hit a big ball. They won't be cowed by that total, and they have a lot of confidence and enthusiasm, which is brilliant to see.
Isabel, you've done quite a bit of work with Julia, having worked with her at Hobart Hurricanes. What sort of characteristics will she be trying to build in this USA team?
Well, one of the things is a bit of consistency. So you saw that in the field. They knew where they were going. They knew what they were doing. They had obvious plans in place. They maybe didn't execute it as well as they would have liked all of the time, but it was definitely clear that they've worked on very specific plans. So Rachel Hawkins will open the bowling here. Right arm off spin around the wicket.
Coming around the wicket, so she'll look to just tuck up on the leg side. Obviously a clear plan here from Scotland. Short and work to mid-wicket. Dot ball, good start for Rachel Hawkins. Good energy in the field as well from Scotland. Whipped in over to Sarah Bryce.
So Erica Rendler opening the batting for USA here. That's really well played down the ground, and she smashed that straight past the bowler, but great fielding on the boundary here from Catherine Bryce, excuse me. The skipper doing it all herself, it looks like.
Great work from her there, definitely saved too. Good shot as well though, great intent, muscling the ball down the ground. Work down to long on again, Catherine Bryce can't keep her out the game, just one.
Yeah, I think that Rachel Hawkins should probably go back to bowling that bit shorter. It's coming off the pitch a little bit slow. So as Shabani Bhaskar faces up and asks for her guard. Interesting to see no helmets on these two batters.
Hawkins going to stay with the around the wicket line here, just try and cramp up the batsman.
You very rarely see her bowl over the wicket.
Gone up. Oh, and it's a brilliant catch! Sarah Bryce has taken an absolute stunner. She had a lot of work to do. What a catch!
What an amazing take from that keeper. We spoke about her pulling the length back there, Rachel Hawkins, and it's done the job straight away. Unfortunately for Shabani, she's just sliced that up in the air. She might have thought she was safe, but a diving, despairing one-handed catch from Sarah Bryce means that she's on her way for naught.
It's a great start for Rachel Hawkins and a great start for Scotland as well. Score is 3 for 1 in the first over. Brings to the wicket Sindhu Srihasa, the USA skipper. A lot rests on her shoulders. Hawkins continues. Into the pads, slight appeal from Sarah Bryce.
A much more assured looking action there from Rachel Hawkins. She got right through the crease and finished off for action, so that wicket no doubt settled her nerves. Very tall bowler.
Edged away. Couple of runs here. Just using the pace of Rachel Hawkins. Comes back for 2.
And so at the end of the first over, USA are 5 for 1.
Let's just take another look at that wicket from Rachel Hawkins. Here it is, persisting round the wicket to the right-hander. Slightly flatter, just goes straight up. Sarah had plenty to do here, and an absolutely outstanding catch, right-handed. Great work, she'll be very happy with that.
Yeah, you don't see many better than that, do you? You can see it's pumped the whole team up as well. That's the kind of thing you dream of doing on the big stage, so brilliant for her. And her sister now, the skipper, Sarah Bryce, bowling the second over. Bowls massive in swing, so if she can get control of it, she's very, very difficult to face.
Into the pads, great work Sarah, stopping the single. Great energy, great buzz from Scotland in the field, certainly noticeable from here.
Yeah, it's one of those games where the further on it goes, the more you know you're on top.
Catherine in. Slightly shorter, and they've gone up, and it's out. Catherine Bryce with the wicket.
Yeah, very unlucky there for Erica Rendler. The ball just did not bounce. She's bowled that well into the pitch. We spoke about bowling a little bit shorter on this wicket. That's not really getting up. It's skidded through, and Erica Rendler walks off looking a bit dejected, a bit disgusted, and you can see why. But there was little doubt as to whether that one was out. It was crashing into middle and leg.
Absolutely. Probably consider herself a little bit unfortunate. That did keep a little low. Catherine Bryce doing the business again, though. You can't keep her out the game. Leading from the front. Let's just take a look at that wicket again. Little bit of in swing, slightly short of a length, and that's got to be hitting middle, halfway up.
You've got to hope that the rest of the USA team have watched that shot and decided playing straight down the ground is the way to go. I think unless it's short and wide, you've got to play straight on this wicket. Otherwise, you're going to just keep going the way of Erica Rendler.
So Raul, the new batter, worked away to square leg, just the single. Good fielding again.
And USA in a little bit of trouble here at 6 for 2.
Yeah, Scotland will be absolutely delighted with this start. Bowlers putting the balls in the right areas, and fielders certainly backing them up.
Yeah, it's funny in a 7-over game as well. When does it start being the middle of the game? We're kind of there now. It's 2 overs in.
Bryson played to mid wicket. Another dot ball, and with every dot, so the pressure mounts here on the USA.
Yeah, she does just get such a huge amount of swing, Catherine Bryce, and when she gets it right, it's really very difficult to score any more than a single off her, so she's an ideal bowler for this situation.
Played to mid wicket. Another dot ball. Sindhu will be looking to just get away here, get a little bit of momentum going for the USA innings. Score still 6 for 2 in the second. Bryson played to cover, and she's put it down. It's a tough chance down to the right. Priyanaz Chatterjee was a good effort. That ends Bryce's over. Another good one from her.
So 2 overs gone. It's 6 for 2.
Looks like a change of bowler here at the clubhouse end. I think it's going to be Catherine Fraser.
So a tough chance at the end of that over from Priyanaz Chatterjee. We'll just have a quick look at the replay. It's hit away hard to the offside. I think they'll just be delighted it didn't go for a boundary.
Absolutely, I think she's done very well to get there. Good energy again. But very excited to see the young 14-year-old Catherine Fraser. She's in from the clubhouse end. It's first ball hit down to long on. This could be a wicket. Oh, it's just short. Great effort again from Catherine Bryce.
I'm extremely excited to see this young off-spinner, Catherine Fraser. Looks like she gets good energy over the top of the ball.
Yeah, heard plenty about her. She started well in Scotland colours, and they'll be looking for a big tournament from her over the next few days. She started well here today again. Work to mid-wicket. Another dot ball.
Looks like a little bit of turn for Catherine. That one just kind of turning and coming off the inside edge and almost skipping up for a little catch in mid-wicket.
Fraser in again. Works it to mid-wicket. No run. Catherine quite happy to give it a little bit of air here and ask the USA batters to take her on. Good to see.
Yeah, this is Akshata Rao. He's yet to score a run, so some nerves probably playing a part.
Worked up again. Oh, it's a great effort again. It's Rachel Hawkins there at extra cover. Diving one-handed to her right. Certainly saved a few runs.
Yeah, if there was one fielder on the ground that Scotland would have wanted under that, it's probably Rachel, being as tall as she is. So she made a good effort, but dropped it in the end.
Cindy goes to play the sweep. Big appeal from Catherine Fraser. It's a dot ball. Not out, says the umpire.
Fantastic over so far. Yeah, that's probably hit outside the line, so Sue Redfern doesn't hesitate to say no.
Worked away. Good footwork. Out to the deep square leg boundary. They'll just pick up a single. Good fielding again from Scotland.
It's an excellent throw from Becky Glenn out there in the deep, and that brings about the end of the third over. USA in a bit of trouble at 10 for 2. So we're almost halfway through the game, which is odd to say when it's that we just have the replay there of that fielding. Oh, sorry, apologies for that, but yeah, it's almost halfway through the game, and USA are in a bit of trouble. They need a further 51 runs in just 4 overs if they're to overturn Scotland in this game.
And it's not going to get any easier as they bring on Abtaha Maksud, the leg spinner, one of Scotland's most consistent bowlers in recent times.
Yeah, I've played Abtaha a good bit when I was playing myself, and she was very difficult to face then, but I believe she's kind of flattened up her bowling a little bit as well, which makes it even more difficult to face her. So she'll be a key bowler for Scotland. But she begins with a wide. Obviously, commentator's curse there. Not the easiest conditions for a leg spinner to start out in.
Maksud in. Played away, and it's chipped over Ruth Willis at point. Batters will come back for a second.
Really impressed by Scotland. They're really hunting in pairs here, so you never see one going to the boundary without a partner going with them, which enables them to slide after the ball and pass off to another fielder and get the ball in quickly. So fantastic work from them.
Maksud comes again. Bowled, and it's worked away. Sindhu Srihasha. Great fielding again.
A little bit over exuberant there from Lorna Jack in the boundary in her effort to get it in over the keeper's head, but good backing up from the Scottish fielders there. She looks like she's finding it a little bit difficult looking into the sun there in that square leg boundary.
Oh, it's another wicket. Sarah Bryce, tidy work behind the stumps, and Maksud picks up our first.
Yeah, she's really come into her own here, Maksud. She's bowled that one a lot flatter. Dip, turn, draws the batter out, and Sarah Bryce said thank you very much. She didn't even pause for a second before she took the bails.
It's an absolute beauty and a leg spinner's dream as we take a look at that wicket again. It's come up beautifully there, bit of grip, great work from Sarah Bryce. Electric as ever, and that brings to the end Akshata Rao's innings. Maksud will be delighted with that. Great start to the tournament for her.
Yeah, I've just spoken about how she's been bowling flatter, and I think there was good evidence of it there. You know, it's always tough that first over in a tournament, but she bowled it really nice and flat, got that dip and turn, and it was rewarded with a wicket.
Nadia Grooney facing up here. Goes for the sweep, misses it. It's another dot ball crucially for Scotland. USA searching for a boundary here, but it's just not coming for them.
I'm not sure the sweep shot is the way to go against Maksud.
So again, and she sweeps it away to deep square leg.
Just the single though, so.
Good work again on the boundary. Just the one. Scotland doing well to contain the boundaries here. USA certainly going for it, but just not quite getting it away.
That brings their score to 14, so a lot of work to do here for USA. And you wonder if they'll just be comfortable knocking it around for singles.
Maksud. Great fielding again, and it's another dot. Great work.
Brilliant by Catherine Fraser there, third man, backing up her point fielder. That brings about the end of the fourth over. It's 14 for 3. Yeah, I was just mentioning at this point in the game for USA, it's looking unlikely that they're going to chase down the total. So at what point do you kind of say, right, we're not going to just try and whack boundaries and get all out? Do we want people in the middle, get a bit of batting under their belts before the next game?
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously in this sort of tournament play, net run rate comes down to it at the end of the day. So every run is crucial.
Yeah, of course, there's 2 spots in Australia and 2020 are to play for, but also where the teams finish it ranking-wise does come into account, where they finish and where they're going to be placed in tournaments in the future.
Fraser bowls, rocks back. Just the one for Nadia Grooney. Fraser bowling nicely to her field there. A little bit flatter from her.
Yeah, Lorna Jack's doing a great job out in that boundary. Also a wicketkeeper, but doing a great job as a boundary fielder.
Sindhu Srihasa down the ground. There is a fielder, but they won't get there. She's going to come back for 2. Well bowled again, forcing the batter to hit in the air, creating a chance.
Yeah, I love that she's not afraid to give it a bit of air here, Catherine Fraser. And she's drawn a somewhat of a false shot, but Abdaham Maksud wasn't able to get back for the catch.
Sindhu again plays it into the cover. It's a dot ball.
Almost a run-out chance there. Nadia Grooney a little bit too enthusiastic to get down the other end, but her captain sends her back.
Sindhu works it to deep mid-wicket. There is a fielder there. She comes in and takes the catch. Great work. Catherine Fraser has a wicket, and it's Becky Glenn at deep mid-wicket that takes the catch comfortably. Great work here from Scotland.
Yeah, a very pleasing shot to the eye, but unfortunately Catherine Fraser was ready for it. She threw it up. I said, you can try and hit it over my fielder if you want. And here we have the replay. Good bit of flight from Catherine Fraser. Sindhu comes down, makes good contact, but probably hits it just too high, and Becky Glenn comes in, takes a good catch. By no means a sure thing, and that brings about the 4th wicket for USA. Score currently 18 from just 4.3 overs.
Batsman cross, so Nadia Grooney on strike. Fraser in. Bowls a bit flatter. It's worked into the covers. Lorna Jack again. And the boundary does good work. Just the single. Brings on strike the new batter, Chandrasekhar. A lot of work for her to do now. Score 19 for the loss of 4 wickets in the 5th over. You have to say USA are certainly behind the 8 ball here. Works it away into covers. Sarah Bryce tries to prevent the single, but they get through for 1. It's the end of Catherine Fraser's successful over, and she started really well. It's 4 overs gone here, and its score is 20 for 4.
Impressive stuff from the young teenager Catherine Fraser there. Showed that she's able to change up her pace, bowl to her field, and take a couple wickets while she's at it. So a very useful addition to this Scottish side as Catherine Bryce gives her cap to the umpire. She bowls her 2nd over.
Good chance for Scotland to really tighten the screw here, bringing back their strike bowler in the 5th. She's had an outstanding game so far. She'll be looking to add to her wicket tally.
So just 2 overs remaining here for USA to make an impact on this game.
Plays it to mid-off. They scamper off for 1. There's very good running. Takes the single.
Well, you feel like if USA want, they can have another 11 singles here. Scotland will no doubt be on the ring, just saying, yep, you can take all the singles you want, but you're not having a boundary.
Good control again from Catherine. She comes in again to Nadia Gruni. Down the ground, hits a stump. They're going to come through for a single. Again, as you say, Scotland more than happy to let USA take these singles.
Yeah, as you say, net run rate does come into it, but all that Catherine Bryce will be thinking out there is to get away with a win. You're not at this point in the tournament thinking, okay, we keep them down another couple of runs. You're just thinking, get the W.
Chandrasekhar back on strike. Hit down too long on. It's just going to be the single. Well fielded. Straight over the stumps. Very high standard all day. Again, that was Rachel Hawkins down there.
Yeah, they've been an impressive unit in the field here, Scotland.
Catherine bowls. Hits the pad.
Bit of innovation by Nadia Gruni there. You can hear her coach encouraging her from the sideline here, obviously giving her players freedom to express themselves out in the pitch and try different things.
Bryce in again. Nadia Gruni works it down to long on. Again, just going to be the single. Closing out the over just as she would like to.
And so it's a fantastic evening here down at Forfeiture. It wasn't like this all day, but we'll take what we can get.
It's the pad, it's a loud appeal, and the finger goes up. Catherine Bryce has her second, and Scotland's fifth. Things not looking good now for the USA.
Yeah, Chandrasekhar drawn into playing across the line there. It's a tempting thing when you're facing Sarah Bryce with the ball coming in at such an angle, but it was a bit too full for that shot, and she's been hit in front. Here you can see the replay of Catherine Bryce. Bit of inward movement, very, very full. Chandrasekhar looking to heave it over mid-wicket for a boundary. She misses it, and I think that's another pretty straightforward decision.
New batsman is Samantha Ramata. And we're going to have a bowling change from the clubhouse end as we enter the final over of the innings. Scotland have been outstanding in the second half. Bowlers very disciplined, and the fielders have backed them up just as well.
So Katie McGill getting her first bowl of the day. And it's really just a formality at this point, but USA needing another 37 runs to win, so they need 6 a ball and 1 extra.
McGill in. Slower ball, his fine leg comes round. Oh, she's just missed out on that. Great effort again. She had a lot of work to do there. I think it was Ruth Willis, that short fine leg.
Been a bit of innovation there from Nadia Gruni. She tried it the over before, but there wasn't quite the pace in the ball that she would have wanted. She's nearly paddled it around to the fine leg fielder, as you say, but not really sure it carried, but if it did, she's put it down.
Katie McGill in. Ramata goes for the big shot.
Oh, she's put it down in extra cover. That's Chatterjee again. I think that's the second drop of the day. Another difficult chance, but she'll be cursing herself there. She'd usually take those catches. Difficult conditions. There's a lot of sun kind of coming in from the other side there, so not the easiest, but she'd be disappointed not to take that. 2 chances so far of Katie McGill's over.
Plays it down to long on. Nadia Gruni, she's looked good since she's been in. Been looking for the boundaries, haven't quite been there, but she's at least held this innings together.
Yeah, she's someone that maybe USA could build a team around. You know, she could knock the singles and have bigger hitters around her.
McGill bowls, worked again to deep mid wicket. Just going to be the single.
Good work again there from Becky Glenn in the deep. She bowls a lot of slower balls, does Katie McGill. We saw another one there and almost dropped under the bat of Samantha Ramatur.
McGill into Nadia Grooney. Played again, nicely played down to long on, with a skipper Catherine Bryce tidies up.
So the score 28 off 6.5 overs. It's almost at an end, and Scotland will be very pleased with how they've gone about their business today.
McGill in again. Worked away to deep mid wicket. Again, just going to be the one. Becky Glenn doing the work on the boundary. And that's it. That's it. A win for Scotland in their opening game here at the Women's World T20 Qualifiers at Forfarshire Cricket Club. It's been an outstanding performance, hasn't it, Isabel?
Yeah, they've looked very professional. There you see the scorecard. It's 30 for 5 from 7 overs instead of the 6. And Scotland will be very pleased with how they've gone about that. They started off very well. The two Bryce sisters batting well together before Sarah Bryce was dismissed. And then they just kept on scoring throughout their innings, which is really the main difference between the two sides.
Absolutely. As you know, the first game of the tournament is never easy. There would have been a lot of nerves, a lot of emotion start of the day. So for Scotland to come out here and perform the way they have done, I think captain, coach, support staff will be very happy with the team. And it's a perfect start for them here at this World Cup qualifier tournament.
So a rather dejected looking Team USA, but they did have some really good parts of their performance. I thought they moved around really well on the field. Some of their bowling plans were very good. Some lovely shots, but Scotland just looked a little bit more on top of things. You know, they're home ground, they're used to these conditions, and they've got a lot more experience than Team USA.
Absolutely, I think there's a lot of positives that this USA team can take from today. I fully agree with you. They were very good in the first half in the field, a lot of energy, a lot of buzz about them. But Scotland just looked up for it from ball one. Speaking to the guys when the rain was on earlier, they were very keen to get out, whether it was a 5-over game, 10-over game. They just wanted to get out there and play and get game one under the belt, and that's shown there. They've been extremely positive, obviously had a clear game plan, and they've stuck to that. So they'll be very happy with the points today.
Yeah, and a lot of credit has to go to the ground staff here at Forfarshire for getting a game on. It's rained almost the entire day. Every now and then there was a bit of a patch of clear sky, but by and large it didn't look like there was any chance of any play. So the umpires very diligently checking the pitch at all times managed to get the teams on for a 7-over match. So really pleased to see that, because you never want to leave it to the extra days if you can. And you see on screen there Team Scotland in their huddle, delighted with the result today.
Catherine Bryce will be a very happy captain. She's had an outstanding game personally, but also her team has backed her up when they've needed it. Some good catches, some good cameo innings, and the bowlers have really stuck to the plan. Steve Knox in the huddle there. He'll be a delighted man. He knew there was a lot of pressure in game one. This tournament means a lot to both him, this team, and the organisation. There's so much riding on this qualification for Scotland. So this is the perfect start to their campaign.
Yeah, young captain Catherine Bryce, she'll be delighted that she got to lead from the front. But you got to hope that there's a few other people, if she doesn't come off every game, who's going to put their hand up. And you know, hopefully for Scotland they've got a few other people who are willing to put in the hard work and score the runs and take the wickets.
Absolutely. For the USA, Isabel, where to from here? They've got to regroup, come back. Where do you think they can improve their game come game two?
I mentioned earlier, I think they played across the line a little bit when, you know, playing straight down the ground is probably the way to go. The wickets are a little bit slower and lower, and especially after the rain that we've had, you know, they've got to make sure that they play down the ground. I thought that they ran pretty well near the end, but probably could have done a little bit better there. And with the bowling, there were just a few too many loose balls that Scotland were able to latch onto. So, you know, not one huge area, just little bits and pieces in all areas. So let's take a look at some of those Scotland wickets.
Rachel Hawkins really set the tone for the team with her canny round the wicket off spin. Didn't give anything away early on, and she was rewarded with the first wicket of the Scotland innings with a great catch from Sarah Bryce, an absolute scorcher. She'll be watching that replay again tonight, I'm sure. Brilliant catch, and that really set the tone for Scotland throughout the innings.
Yeah, an unbelievable way to start their bowling innings. And here's the second wicket from Sarah Bryce. Stayed a little bit low, and you know, Erica Randler looked disgusted that she was dismissed in such a fashion, but we did mention about how you need to play down the ground in this in this area of the world.
And Maksud's first wicket of the tournament was Akshal Rao, a beautiful gripping leg spinner. Again, electric work from Sarah Bryce behind the stumps, which brought the third USA wicket. Great signs for Maksud though. She had a good game with the ball.
And then for Catherine Fraser, she got the prize wicket of the skipper, Sindhu Srihasa. She gave it a bit of flight, drew Sindhu into the shot, who just kind of clipped it down to deep mid-wicket, where Becky Glenn was waiting to take the catch. Really good catch from her. Never easy, those ones running in that you have to catch kind of at stomach height, but she never looked like dropping it. Really good fielding from Scotland.